birthday cake for Robbie, and it's the first time I'm gonna be making this cake. I decided to take y'all along with me so that we can both learn together. Okay, the sweetened condensed milk recipe that I'm going to be using calls for 2/3 cups of sugar to 2 cups of milk. I'm going to be doubling this recipe because I want extra for our coffee in the morning. So I'm going to be using 4 cups of milk to 1 1/3 cups of sugar. So this is going to cook down until it becomes thicker, like the sweetened condensed milk that you buy in the store. Once we dissolve all the sugar in the milk and it starts to boil, we're going to turn it down to simmer and let it simmer for about 35 to 40 minutes until it thickens up. But you need to continually stir this until it starts to simmer so that it doesn't stick to your pan. So just gently stir it, and I would do this over a medium heat. Okay, guys, as you can see, it's starting to boil, so I'm going to turn it down to a lower heat and let it simmer. Guys, as you can see, the mixture has gone down quite a bit, but it hasn't turned the darker cream color that I'm looking for, nor has it reduced enough. So I'm going to let it simmer for another 5 minutes. Okay guys, I'm turning the heat off under the sweetened condensed milk. As you can see, it's thickened up quite a bit and it has reduced down about halfway. And that's what we're looking at because we're wanting 2 cups of sweetened condensed milk. So I'm gonna leave this back here to cool and I'll show y'all once I pour it into the jar. Have a cake without the actual cake, so let's get started. I measured out my ingredients over here. We're gonna start with 2 cups of sugar, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cups of unsweetened cocoa, and I've put the baking powder, the baking soda, and the salt in this container. It's 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, I'm gonna whisk these all around and to get my dry mixture combined. Yeah, I'm just using a whisk to do this with because I don't want to bite into a bitter piece of unsweetened cocoa or baking soda or even flour. I have another bowl and I'm going to combine the wet ingredients. Got 2 eggs, a cup of milk. This is a 1/2 cup measuring cup, but I'm going to put 2 of them in there. Half cup oil, vegetable oil. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. The recipe doesn't call for me mixing these up in separate bowls, but I like to mix my wet ingredients separate from my dry ingredients because I feel like it just makes for a better cake. So you can mix it all together if you'd like, or you can do it the way that I. Okay, as you can see, I've gotten my wet mixture together. So I'm gonna start slowly adding my dry mixture to my wet mixture. Okay, as you can see, this chocolate cake is looking good. It's coming together. Let me add this last bit of dry mixture, and I'll show you where we're at. Okay guys, I don't know if you can see the steam, but the last part of this cake mixture requires a cup of hot water. Well, actually boiling water. So we're gonna pour this in very slowly because I don't want my eggs to cook in here. And you should make a thinner batter. As you can see, it's pretty thick right now. It'll probably be more like brownies if I was to cook it now. So let's do a little bit at a time. And be careful when you're stirring in this hot water. You don't want it to splash up on you and burn you. Because like I said, it's boiling. It has to be boiling water. Okay guys, I'm gonna finish pouring in my hot water and then I'll show you where we're at. Okay guys, I forgot to tell you, before you stir in the hot water, you need to set your oven to 350 degrees or sometime before that, because this will cook in a 350 degree oven. Well guys, I've got the batter all mixed up. And as you can see, it's pretty thin. So this is enough batter for 2 9-inch round cake pans, but I'm making this in a rectangular pan. But just if you were wondering about the measurements, this is enough for a 2-layer 9-inch cake. So I've prepared my pan. So I'm just gonna pour this in. Oven's ready. So I'm gonna put this in the 350 degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes. I don't even know if I told y'all what kind of cake I'm making. I'm making an Almond Joy candy bar cake. So stay tuned because we're gonna continue on learning how to make the frosting for this cake. It's time to make the frosting, or the drizzle if you will, because what we're gonna do to the cake is we're gonna poke holes in a cake and we're gonna pour this part over it. So to make this part, you're gonna use 1 cup of sugar. I'm not using a whole cup of sugar because we have the sweetened condensed milk that we're gonna also put in here, and I feel like we already have so much sugar that we didn't need a whole cup. Okay, and a cup of the sweetened condensed milk. So we're gonna let this get pretty warm. And we're also gonna add 24 marshmallows, large marshmallows, to this mixture. We're trying to melt all this down. There's actually 2 parts to this frosting mixture. Another, after we add this to the cake, pour it over the top of it, we're going to make another, like a chocolate glaze to top that. As you can see, the marshmallows are melting, incorporating into that sugar and milk mixture. Okay, while that milk and marshmallow mixture continues to melt down, I'm gonna go ahead and poke the holes in my cake. And I'm using the end of a spoon that has a rounded end on the bottom. I don't have any wooden spoons that have rounded bottoms, so I'm just using a plastic spoon that I have. Whatever you have to get the job done. Okay guys, I've got my marshmallow mixture mixed down. Now I have 7 ounces of coconut. I'm gonna mix that into the to the marshmallow mixture, marshmallow sugar sweetened condensed milk mixture. Okay, and then I'm just going to pour it over my cake. Okay, y'all, it's time to get finished with this cake. So let's get started. Okay, I've got the sweetened condensed milk, the butter, and the sugar. We're going to bring this to a boil, then we'll add. Okay guys, we've melted the chocolate. Now it's time to add the nuts. I'm gonna add half a cup, maybe a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and add the whole cup. Okay guys, it's time to add the chocolate with almonds. I'm going to take the back of my spoon and gently cover it. For decorative purposes, I'm going to add some almonds on top. Plus, Robbie really likes nuts, so he'll appreciate the extra almonds. All right, y'all. Here's the final product. Our Almond Joy candy bar cake. Well, if you've enjoyed this experience with me in making this Almond Joy candy bar cake, please continue to watch. I really do appreciate everyone that subscribes to my channel.